Hi guys, and welcome. So we're going live again. I'm going to just keep going, and I'm going to assume over here on my tablet that we have gone live. We're going to do a second edition of Color Me Crazy. I'm going to see though. Yes. Oh, my dog just came in. He's going to go straight underneath my chair, so I won't be able to move. Great. All right. So the hair is tucked behind the ears. Looks like we're ready to go. So let's go ahead and go here, and let's see if I can get this. Okay, that didn't work. There we go. Let me make this a little bit smaller because that's way too big. All right. Feel like that's a fairly good size. There we go. All right. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go back and forth over here to see if I'm showing up live yet on YouTube. I'm sure it'll show up eventually. So anyway, let me see something here. So yeah, it does show that I'm up there. All right. I just think it takes a while for it to show up on YouTube. I'm not sure. But it looks like we are going. Yep. All right. So let's just go ahead. I'll flip that down here. I think it'll show up eventually here on my live feed. Okay, so today's colors. We are going to be using Bubble Bath. Oh, now my phone disconnected. This is the way it's going to be. I can just tell. Let's see if it reconnects. The fun of going live. Let me see. Accept. Is it coming back on? Let me see. All right, hang on. Let me go back here. I might have to reconnect. Let's see here. Oh, this is why I don't do lives. I don't have the patience for it. So let's see if this comes back on now. There we go. And now let's go ahead and get this back on. Oh, now I have a gnat by me. Oh, that's not right. Do you see that gnat? Sorry, had to do that. All right, so this is my mobile device. This is so much fun, isn't it? Let's go back here. Oh my goodness. I thought I had this all set up. So mobile device. Still not showing up on my tablet either. Except on my phone. And then here we're doing picture in picture, and that's going to be my integrated camera. All right, let's try this again. Now maybe my phone won't go down on me. All right, so anyway, and I have my dog right underneath my feet, so if I have to get up for anything, we're going to be in a world of trouble. All right, so we're doing, like I was saying, Bubble Bath and Old Olive. I'm going to go one more time over here. I don't know why it's not showing live. Oh, you know what? I think it's because I have to just sign into YouTube and not into my Manage account. So let me see here. Let me go here. All right, I'm not even going to look at it. If you guys are commenting, I can't see. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is I have some baby wipes. And I have re-inkers. Now, my Old Olive is very old as far as the re-inker. And I have an old stamp case here. So I'm going to put quite a few of these on the bottom. And then we're going to fold them over to go on top. it. Now this might get a little bit messy, so just bear with me. All right. So let's go ahead and do this. All right. I still want to be able to, let's see. Oh, there we are. But I think it's because I don't have it named. All right. We'll figure out the naming later. How about that? Let's see. Yeah, we'll do the description later. All right, so at least I have it on there. All right, so let's just go ahead and do a few drops of each. I'm going to kind of strategically place these. We're going to use this as our paint palette. All right. And then let's go ahead and we'll put some Old Olive on there. Didn't mean to get that green one there, but it's all good. And we are using, again, because I just can't get enough of it, Darling Details. So it's a 22-piece stamp set, and it is 18, I believe that says. Can't tell. Yep, 18 dies. All right, so let's do some stamping first. Now that my dog has moved, I can go ahead and get a basic white layer. Let me move the stamp pads over here for a second. And let's go ahead and get some flowers on this background. All right, so it's all about the color combinations, and you could actually, I thought I saw someone do where they did like that. No, that wasn't very good. Let's try that again. Because you want to get the centers in there, so then that lines up kind of good there. All right, not the greatest. I like it as a half flower better. All right, let's go ahead. Oh, that one got mostly green. That's all right. Oh, and that one I hit the edge of this the stamp. That's what's nice about this. Just wipes right off. We're going to cover that up because I don't like how that looks. All right. And let's get a little bit more down there. All right. Then we're going to go in with this fun little flower, which I already have mounted. And we're going to actually be able to pinpoint the colors we want on this one. Oops, got a little bit close to that green there. All right, and now I don't have this one mounted yet, but now we're actually going to do that leaf, which is right here. And here I'm going to concentrate more on getting that Old Olive, that green. Oops, got a little bit of the pink in there, I think. All right, so there's that. Now you can, I'm just going to close this up for now, but you can put it in a baggie. It might stay wet for maybe a few days, not much. All right, but that's how you do that. If you wanted to, let me go ahead and grab out a couple more pieces. It's a mess over here. Glad you can't see over there. All right, so now on this, if you wanted to, afterwards, since I made that so concentrated, you could actually do like a plaid pattern too. So go like this. And now I'm going to fold it a little bit more so it's like this. And I'm going to come down with that one green stripe kind of right in the middle there. Wanted to get more of that pink though. It's a very light color. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do it. Let's see. Nope, it looks like I'm getting more of that green for that plaid look. That one's pretty good though. I like that one. Let's see if I can get that pink right on the edge there. There. All right. And that's also a good way of using up a lot of that ink. Now, to let it dry, let me pull out my drawer here. This is where my keyboard is for work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put those like that off to the side. And I'm just going to put this block on them so they'll dry for a little bit. So let me put that off to the side here. All right, let's get back here to this. Let me grab, oh, see, my dog was in there, so now I'm going to have dog hairs all over the place. Gotta love it. All right, so let me go ahead and grab my 2 towers. Here's that tower that will have the bubble bath in it, and here's the tower that will have the old olive in it. So let's go ahead. I think I want to do that and that. I'm going to put these over here for just a second. I'm using my whole room. All right, so let's go ahead on this one. This one I'm going to do, I think, that cutting like I did the other day on my Watch It Wednesday. So I'm going to take off a 1/2 inch this way. Well, hello, Honeybee Stamping Hive. Good to see you again. All right, and I'm going to take off a 1/2 inch here. I think I'm going to take off on that side because I really don't like the way that side came out. All right, so I am going to cut diagonally. So I'm going to go line up these 2 points in the cutting blade. I'm going to go like that. So I have the 2 that are together. Now here I'm going to go up 2 1/4. Then here I'm going to go down 2 3/4. All right, so here's how it was when it was all put together. And now we're going to go ahead and layer that. So let me go ahead, lay them out the way it was. And we're going to go ahead and tape these down. Now I thought I brought out my adhesive. There it is, underneath the baby wipes. Now let's see if it works a little bit better on the surface this week. Last week we were having troubles. All right, so if you remember right, we had it like, oh my goodness, we had it like this. All right, it helps if you keep it in the same order. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to line it a little bit so I have a little bit of an edge both ways. I'm just going to tap it down. I'm not going to press it down yet because I want to make sure I like where the positioning is. Then I like doing the other full side. Boy, my dog was only in here for a few minutes and I have his hairs all over the place. He just sheds like crazy. Now if I don't get that off, someone's going to have a hair on a card and that's not going to be good. All right, let me get out my snips. Get that hair off. Nobody wants a dog hair on their card. Even if they can't see it, I'll know it's there. Okay. So this is the other corner here. So again, I'm going to line it up so I have a good layer all the way around. Go ahead, do this. I'm going to bring that in just a little bit. Tack it down, not pushing it down hard yet because I want to make sure I like the way it looks. And tack that down. All right, I like the way it looks, so I'm going to press it all down. I know it looks a little off here in the middle, but that's where we're going to put our sentiment. So let me grab a piece of vanilla. Come over here. Here's my stack of Rich Regals. Not Rich Regals, now they're just Regals. They used to be called Rich Regals. So many different name changes. All right, let's cut this at 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. So then we're going to make this 1/4 lower. So we're going to go 2, which this should be, by 3. And there we have our good old layer. My scoring, let me bend down. My scoring blade fell out. We'll put that back in there. I like having 2 scoring. I don't know if you noticed that. I was really glad when the online exclusives, when they came out where you could buy extra scores, because I like having a score at the top and the bottom, depending on where I'm scoring on my board, and then the cutting blade in between. So I was really glad because my 2 cutters, the other one just has a cutter on it, cutting blade on it. So now I can have it the same way on both of my cutters. Yay! All right. So now, see, we're going to put this here in the middle. That's why it's going to really kind of mask off where all that meets. Now you can see that. I think I want this to bring down a little bit more. So I'm going to exhale on it. That way it loosens up that adhesive. So I'm going to get, because I want a little bit of a bigger area here in between. All right, so back to my darling daisies. I'm sorry, darling details, not daisies, darling details. All right, and let's go ahead and take our 2 colors we're using. Let me put this over here so I have places. Now that's my hair there. So I have places for my stamps to be, so I don't lose them until I can clean them and put them off. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to do this, I think, in the bubble bath, but I'm going to stamp it off once. Oh, that got a little bit of a, let me see. I've used this, so I don't know if I just didn't get a good inking there. But you know what? You know why? And I said this last week. It's because I don't have my piercing mat. Now let's try this again. Let me ink this off the side here. Stamp off once. There we go. Much better. All right. So that's it for that bubble bath. We're going to go ahead and do the outside. I'm hoping it'll stamp okay because it's not, this block's just a little bit too small for it. And I know there's an exact place to go, but I'm just going to wing it because I didn't mark. It looks like that's the bump out and that's the bump out. And it's just going to be kind of there because I'm not going to get my head into the shot where you could see it. So this is, oh, this is the double. So that would be here. Let me see if I can just, that one I did at full strength. Didn't mean to do that. All right. It all works out. So let me reach over here Get my memento, because you love memento. Get my happy birthday saying. It's on a really large block, so hoping I don't get an edge. All right, so let's layer and layer. We'll call this one done. I didn't do very well on getting that cut off before I released. So here's that. I think I want to pop it up with dimensionals. So I have quite a few dimensionals here. And I have to be careful because you can pick up ink on there. Alright, put off my backings over here in my little side trash collector. Alright, so now this corner keeps coming up. So you could either take your green glue, which I put into a dimension, a precision tip, or you could use your glue dots. I'm just going to put a little, little dot of glue there to hold that down. There we go. So there's the first card. Just showing you that baby, oops, there's the first panel. Now we're going to show you the first card. Since this is a light enough cardstock, I don't feel like we need to put Vera Vanilla or a basic white on the inside. You can just go ahead and write right on there, or stamp right on there. So there's the first card. All right, so for this next card, we are going to be showing you how to use your cardstock when you don't have a ribbon. And I know you can't see. Let me get up here closer. This is Bubble Bath in there, just so you know. I know the focus is bad. So let me show you how you do that. So we're going to take a piece of Bubble Bath. We're going to cut it down to 1/4 of an inch. Let me put this over here for right now. Then you're going to take either the die itself, or you can use a bone folder, which I thought, yeah, I have out right over here. All right, so what we're going to do is we're just breaking up those fibers. Now you have to be careful, because if you don't keep moving this thumb back and forth, you're more likely to rip your cardstock. You want it to break apart, but you don't want it to rip before you're ready. And you'll also feel, like right here, I can feel a little bit of a bump in there. So that tells me that part of the fiber is not broken down yet. So let's go ahead. I usually do about 4 or 5 times per side until I can start seeing. I don't know if you can see that. Let me bring it up here. It's starting to separate. I know you can't see it, but right here I can see that it's starting to separate. So that tells me that I probably can start pulling apart. Now if any point you feel like there's some resistance, just go ahead and go under there again. Like here, I'm feeling some resistance, so I'm going to come back again. Feeling a lot of resistance, and there is a little bit of a bubble there. So now you have to be super careful, because you can see the rest of that is breaking apart now. It's just that one little area that's kind of caught, that's right here. You know what, I'm going to go from the other end because I just feel like that's a very weak spot. So here you can see it's all breaking apart. There. See, by going on that other end, you saved it. Because see, here's where it was starting to break apart. And I have this end that still looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and break down those fibers just a little bit more. Go from both sides. And this is not a race. This is a marathon. All right, I'm going to come from the other end now because that's peeling apart. So see, we have different layers here that are pulling apart. All right, so we have one long string here. This part, I'm going to gently pull like that. Okay, so we have it all there. So you can kind of see where it started to get stuck there. So now you have your piece that's smooth on one side, but it looks kind of like faux silk is what they call it. Not full, is it full silk, full felt? I don't remember. All right, so now we're also going to take our, I want to make sure this is at least 4 1/4 inches, and it's not. Let me grab another piece from my Regals over here. All right. Because what we're going to do is we're going to go back to that Darling Details, and we're going to use a die. We're going to use this die. Now, what I want you to know about this die, let me put this over here. This does not cut on this edge. You see how it's raised here at the top? This will cut here. There is no ridge here, so it's not going to cut there. So wherever you put it on your cardstock, it's not going to cut that bottom part. So I want it to cut at about, I want it to be about 2 inches from top to bottom. So there, I'm going to put this right about there. Let me grab out some of my blue tape. You know what? Let me do it. I don't want to lose that piece of cardstock. So let me go ahead and put this on my grid paper. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's about 1 1/2, and the die is about that. So that will make it pretty straight there. All right, I have a mess going on here. Let me bring that piece back because I don't want to lose my piece. All right, let me go ahead and move up here a little bit more. We're going to go ahead and run this through. Now, if you're using the baby cut and emboss machine, remember that it is not 4 1/4 or 4 inches wide here. It's like 3 3/4. You know what? I'm going to take these off here and put them over here just so I don't lose anything. I usually have it a lot neater than this. These aren't cleaned off yet, so, but I don't want for them to get stuck underneath. So my birthday and my little ones are there, so I'm okay. Okay, so let's go ahead. I know I'm going to have to cut some of this off, but instead of cutting it, I'm going to rip it. Oops, it fell apart. Hang on. I'm going to rip it. That way I have a torn edge for later. So I'll put that up there. My blue tape is not very sticky. I should probably get new. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's go right about there. And I want it to be on the line so I know that it's straight across. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. I can count. All those years of school, Mom and Dad helped. All right, so let's try this again. Now this is thin enough that it will be able to go through your cut and emboss machine. this size. If you have the big one, any size will go through that. Let me turn back here to get my plates. Let's put this down, this here, and then on top. And let's roll that through. Faux suede is right. Yes, that's what it's called. Thank you there, honeybee. Yes. I always like lose all my senses when I get on live because live scares me. I'm trying to get through my fears, but yeah, doing live scare me. All right, let me go ahead and grab I have embossing powder in my Stampin' Up! Tray, tidy tray, so I'll have to use this one. I just want to get all those little pieces out of there. All right. And so then we have that. I love this mat, but I know I licked my fingers, sorry. I know people hate that. I love this mat though because it does help with controlling things, but every little shred will show up and stick on here from the static electricity. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece and we're going to weave it through. But now I'm going to make this to be the length of a layer. So I'm going to make it 4 inches. So what I like to do is, I'm going to put that off the side because they tear really easy. I like having my first cut, and I'm going to do it upside down, right between these 2 lines here. And I'll show you why in a second. So that's my first cut. And now I'm going to try to go to the 4 inches. And it should be, now see, it's just a little bit over. So you know what, I will go, I'll go straight to the 4 1/4 because it is 4 1/4 between the two. So I'll just make this the length, the width of my card. But I like having one of those on each side for my ribbon, or in this case, our cardstock. All right. So what I like to do is I like to go from the middle to the end. So I know that this, and I want to leave some overlap so I can fold it under. So I know that this has to go, so there's my overlap on both sides. So I know that right here is going to go through to that end. And I feel like it's easier for me to work from the middle to the ends. And all I'm doing is I'm going under. That way the pink underneath will show through that cutout. And I'm just weaving it through. Now you can use ribbon too. I didn't have any pink ribbon that was this thin though. So that's why it's always fun with the faux suede, because you can cut your paper to any size. And I did this at 1/4 of an inch. You could see, you could go just a hair bigger. So you probably could go to maybe 3/8. All right. Let's go down like that. And see, this is why I like having just the one here, is because then I'm going to bring it up through and we're going to go ahead and we can do a tape or adhesive on that other back side. All right, so now that that's anchored, now we can finish it up on this side. Now you have to be careful when you're pulling it through, because like I said, we've really we've really broken down the fibers. So it's very compromised. It's very thin, it's very fragile. So not so fragile that it's going to rip, because Stampin' Up! Paper cardstock is great, but you just want to be careful. All right, so now we have that woven through. I am now going to take, I have my Very Vanilla, and I'm going to go ahead and make this the same length. So I'm going to make this 4 1/4, and then this, we made it overall 2 inches, so an inch will give me, if I go like that, you can see an inch will give me a good amount of space on either side. So let's go an inch, and then 4 1/4. Okay. Now, if you wanted to, oh, you know what? We have our pieces from earlier that we did with the baby wipes. I might use this for one of the backgrounds. We'll figure it out. We may not. This would have been cool. If this had been lighter, it would have been cool to do our sayings off of too. All right. So anyway, let's go back to my original colors. Let me move those re-inkers. I am going to go ahead and I'm just going to wipe, even though this is what I used for coloring earlier, I'm just going to use this to wipe off my stamp, because my cutting emboss machine is on top of my cleaning pad. So let's go ahead. I'm going to stamp off once, because remember this, oh, flip it over, touch the baby wipe. All right, let's not try that again. Let's go off once, like that, off once, because we really want it to be light. Just give a hint of that color. We're going to come through with the happy birthday. And you know what? Where's my thing for my dry erase? I'm going to dry that off. I had a little moisture on there. Let's go ahead. I agree. Lives are very nerve-wracking. All right. So let's get our little happy birthday on there. We have room here if we wanted to do any sort of embellishments. I think the funniest thing about lives is I forget that I have myself still showing up over there. And so I think, oh, have I done something? Is my face like contorted? So let's go ahead, make that a little bit lined up there. Perfect. Now on this one, I am going to go ahead and use my glue dots to, let's see, where's my, I'll use this side. Use my glue dots underneath here to hold down those ends. Gotta be careful. Remember I told you how fragile that is? All right, so now I can fold that glue dot over there. I had the pokey end of the tool. You know, I have 2 other take your pick tools, so you'd think I would have one of them around. This one I'm actually going to kind of curl up a little bit and place down there. Oops, sorry. Curling up, placing it down there. Just get that little bit at the top over there. And on this, I think I am going to go ahead, put some dimensions on there just to help hold those down a little bit more. Put a couple more in the middle for support. Let's go ahead, get rid of those backings, make sure they're in my little garbage tin here to the side, so Mr. Finn doesn't think they're food and try to eat them. All right, So now this is going to be the same size. Let me grab, sorry. Let me go ahead and grab, there we go. Had to find the color because we're going to layer that on our old olive cardstock. Go. All right. And you know what? Before I do that, let's get a little more. Let's get something on the background for that. Let me think of the stamp set or what. I don't think I want to cut any more out. All right, let's just go ahead. We'll go with this since it's already out. And we'll just do some light background. This is what happens when I don't really plan these out all the way through. I want to get that. That will just soak up the ink. Don't want to do that. All right, enough of that. So now I think we can get this all down. Set those off to the side there. Let's go ahead, get our get that good edge there. I think I want to leave a little bit at the bottom there. All right, and let's see, what do I want to do at the top? Oh, you know what? Let's grab this back out. We have this piece. Let's grab from here. Let's grab some leaves. We have all of these leaves. So let's go ahead and just on this piece that's cut on one side from that, so that really won't be that usable. Need to clean up my space. Let's go ahead, put some of these through. If I thought ahead, I would have had some of our adhesive sheets on there so that there'd already be backing on them. But we'll just go ahead. Sorry, I know it's moving the camera a little bit. Sorry, a little bit loud. Let me grab, I'm just going to grab one of my magnetic plates, but you know what? I think we'll be okay. Right here, 1, 2, 3. I am missing one already. There it is, 4. All right. So there, 2 of those had come out okay. These are stuck on, so if you just kind of course it doesn't work when I do it. So that one came out. Sometimes you just have to bonk them a little. You know what? I don't want to lose this one, so I'm just going to go ahead and use your take your pick tool. Get the pokey end and get that one out. All right, so there's all 4 of those. Let me put them back in here. They're all falling off of my magnetic sheet because I'm throwing things around here. I'm not paying attention like I should. Let me put this one back in there too while we're at it. right. So let's grab out, move some of these off to the side. Let's go ahead. We have all the leaves here. We have my other spatula tool here. Let me grab my silicone mat from back here. Alright, so we have a really fine line coming out now. Put just a little bit of glue there. I think this one was stuck down. Yep, let's go ahead and get that one off. Get just a little bit of glue on there. All right, we're almost done, guys. This has a little more area there, so you could be a little more liberal with that. You could also be using your reverse tweezers to help you with placement. I think I want this one coming out of one of these, like that. And we're on to our final one right here. Did all those little pieces come out? Yep, last one here. Now I usually do this in threes. You can see I did do 4 here. I'm not going to worry about it too much. You know what, I'm going to pick up some of that glue with that edge just to put underneath there to help push that one down. All right, let's get all of this out of the way. Things are a mess, but here you can see, let me go ahead and remove my mat really quick. So now you can see here are the 2 cards that we did using that color combination of Bubble Bath and Old Olive. Thanks everyone for showing up, whether you're watching it live or going to watch it on a replay. Give me a thumbs up, comment if you want, but most of all, have a great weekend and we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.